PC said, how long do you think this phase of the war might go on? 2C yesterday said bombing cannot go on too much longer. Yeah, I agree, and that's why I think this 48-hour deadline is significant. That basically it was a 5-day deadline. We're 3 days into it. It was and the remember the threat President Trump made, because look, he's not going to make good on this threat. I really doubt it. I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but President Trump threatened to blow up all of Iran's energy infrastructure. That would be Karg Island. That would be their electrical grid. That'd be all kinds of stuff. And
I don't think you have a question on the screen.
Okay, thanks. Is there a Trojan horse, or is Iran too smart if so? No, I don't think there's a Trojan horse. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Trek World. Sorry. I'm not, you'd have to be more specific. But I just don't see President Trump actually making good on that threat to blow up their energy infrastructure. If anything, he'll strike at the place on Karg Island that I was talking about, the pumping station that we've already determined can be blown up and repaired fairly quickly, but it would stop Iran's ability to export oil. So, I mean, I think that is a likely outcome of this. I do not see Iran coming to the negotiating table anytime soon. And part of the reason for that is because we killed everybody we were negotiating with. And so anybody who's in charge now looks at that and goes, I don't want to come out of my hole to go negotiate because I might get killed too. And indeed, Israel dropped a bomb in Bandar Abbas yesterday that killed the head of the IRGC Navy and a whole bunch of his minions who were all there together at 3 o'clock in the morning in an 8-story building in Bandar Abbas. Israel pancaked that building without destroying the buildings on either side of it. And that just shows how accurate their intelligence and their precision fires.
Pretty good shooting, eh?
Okay, so Iran is still allowing what they call non-hostile ships to pass with coordination from the IRGC. That's why those islands right in the Strait of Hormuz are so important. So Larak Island is the choke point where we may see somebody very soon, whether they're Marines or Rangers or 82nd Airborne, ending up on Larak Island, taking that over to make it so that we can control who comes and goes through the Strait of Hormuz. But I kind of doubt that there are any mines out there because Iran can threaten to put mines, or they can say that they put mines out there.
Everybody's saying old Nancy's dead now.
And the effect is exactly the same. The entire strait has
she
to
was
be
dead from
gone over with a fine-tooth comb by minesweepers to determine whether or not there are any mines. And in that time, nobody can pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran, President Trump is saying Iran doesn't have a navy, they don't have an army, they don't have an air force. We've destroyed Iran. We've won the war. Except Iran can continue to weaponize the Strait of Hormuz simply by claiming that they've mined it, and they don't actually have to mine it.
Oh man,
now, if
who's
they
getting
were to,
sick of Nancy Guthrie's
there are two competing narratives
Jeez.
on how long we can handle the Strait of Hormuz being closed. One of them comes from the guy from Shark Tank, this businessman who was interviewed on Fox. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Days worth of oil floating on the water right now. In order to really have a very difficult situation stateside, you'd need 90 days at above $90. We're only 1 month. And so the minute Hormuz is open, oil prices will drop to mid-70s, as they were prior to the conflict. The market will adjust immediately. It'll take about 2 weeks at the pump for it to drop. And that's what the market thinks is going to happen.
So he's saying the market believes that this is going to be over within 2 weeks. And when it does, gasoline prices will come back down, oil prices will come back down,
Yay!
everything will go back to normal. Now, contrast that with the CEO of BlackRock, who gave an interview and had a little less rosy picture.
BlackRock.
What he thought.
Kind of war.
Larry
And yet Iran
Finkelstein.
remains a threat. A
Satan.
threat to trade, a threat to the Straits of Hormuz. And I would argue that we could have years of, above $100, closer to $150 oil.
What happens to the global economy if that happens? How do we see it?
We'll have global recession.
So he's calling for global recession, and because I think he has a better handle on this.
Oh,
Iran
the
can
old
be defeated militarily and still weaponize the Strait of Hormuz,
telephone
just
box.
pointed out. If they have
And
some
that
of these
car in the
small
driveway.
fiber optic drones,
Remember that with the
they can
hood?
go out and they can hit shipping in the Strait of
The
Hormuz, and they can
Tarp
launch those
over it
things
with
from
the front end
anywhere.
damage.
I'm gonna pull up a map here. Let me see if I can do this while I'm talking. I'm really bad at talking and working on the computer at the same time, but let me see if I can share this screen with you, and
A Wi-Fi
we'll
jammer.
go to Iran. Okay, we go to Iran here.
Oh, she's pretty.
There we go. Get rid of that. All right. Now, I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to change this to a satellite view, and I'm going to zoom in on Bandar Abbas, right down here. And I want you to look at the number of, at how large this city is, first of all. Okay. So if I keep zooming in, we'll just go down to one neighborhood right here. If you look closely at this neighborhood, how many buildings would you say are in that neighborhood? 100? Just this area right here. Is that 100 buildings? Is there 100 more over here
50.
Maybe 50?
100.
There's a park. I guess that would pass as a park in Iran. What a bleak place. My gosh. They got some high-rise buildings over here. Lots and lots of them. And I like to go through the maps like this because it's fascinating to me just to travel this way and look at, what it looks like in these areas. And of course, you can go down and find something like this where there's a photograph and you can see what it looks like on the ground there. Looks like a boardwalk. Isn't that nice? And people can just walk along the boardwalk, along the water at night when it's nice and cool out there, whatever. But my point is, if we zoom out from that one neighborhood to just this one city of Bandar Abbas, let's say that's it. What do you have? 20,000 buildings? And any of those buildings could launch an FPV drone. Now, the Shahed drone would be a little harder. There's, of course, lots of open desert out here and coastline along here. And those drones have a pretty long reach. They can go, we could see drones hitting the Strait of Hormuz coming from way back in here. Okay? So just think of how much space that is. Iran is about the size of Alaska.
Wonder if I
That's
could get that
massive
down
amount of
to-
space. And
Gonna mess
almost
around
anywhere
there.
in there, especially along the coastline, they could launch a drone that could damage a ship and close the Strait of Hormuz. So as long as there are people who are upset at the United States and Israel and want to, punish the global economy for what's been done to Iran, the Strait of Hormuz is going to be fraught with risk. And without some sort of solution where people
Oh,
turn on the IRGC inside Iran, where we facilitate the Iranians' ability to take over their own country from their own people. Because if that were the case, then if there's a guy trying to set up a fiber optic drone on the rooftop somewhere, his neighbors are going to see him, they're going to turn him in, and he's going to get stopped. They're going to put a stop to that kind of practice very quickly. If the Iranians would put it and make it in their best interest
There
to
we
keep
go.
the Strait of Hormuz open, that is the way to open it. And until that happens, the Strait of Hormuz is not, it doesn't matter how badly we destroy their navy, how badly we destroy their army, it doesn't matter. All it takes is one guy, two guys with some very small drones the size of a dinner plate, and they can wreak havoc on the Strait of Hormuz. So that is a big problem that I don't know that the United States fully, I say that. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. The U.S. had plans, I'll get to your question in just a second, so leave it up on the screen. The U.S. had plans for decades and did training exercises every year centered around opening the Strait of Hormuz. We've been doing that for many years, but the drone threat is very, very new, and just in the last year or two. So I don't know that we have actually planned that out sufficiently. All right. So somebody says, do you believe that if there's a secular government put in place that there would be a civil war for generations in Iran? No. I believe that if the United States facilitated the Iranian people to take back their government, and that would mean providing weapons, maybe providing training, providing air support, just like we did for the Kurds. Look, the Kurds are a fairly small people group. They're the minority in Iraq, and they were in Syria as well. But with American air support and training and weapons and equipment, they managed to carve out a very large, a third of Syria, and manage it very well for a long time. It was peaceful. There were lots of different people groups that lived in there. Sunnis, Shias, Christians,
Son-in-law
Yazidis,
confessed.
you name it. They all got along just fine.
Son-in-law
And that was
confessed.
specifically because the United States said, if
We
the Kurdish
suspected him
Peshmerga
all
call
along.
us and say, hey, we got a firefight going on down the street here, we would send a jet to drop a bomb on their enemies. We would send a helicopter to tear them up. We might even send a platoon of Rangers in there to extract any high value targets and information if necessary. We had Rangers. I don't know if we still have them there. We may have pulled them out in the last month or two. But when I was in Syria earlier this year in February, there were still Rangers in Syria, and they were on a base. They were doing missions. They were taking out Islamic State radicals wherever they could find them, and assisting the Kurds and the Peshmerga in keeping the lid on the extremists in the area. We could do the same thing in Iran. Keep that in mind. Absolutely possible. Okay. Now there's two more videos I want to get to. One is just, a lot of people are saying this is the best video on the internet right now. And it is a Kuwaiti guy addressing the United Nations and really taking it to them about Israel.
And when will you end the ritual of condemning Israel? Is it not time instead to learn from Israel how to defeat terror, defend free societies, and pursue peace?
I declare open Agenda Item 7 entitled Human Rights Situation in Palestine.
Israel has institutionalized a systematic regime of torture with a genocidal intent against the Palestinians.
The policy of extermination, of genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes.
Occupation, settled, colonial, apartheid, and genocide.
Colonialism, oppression, and apartheid.
Colonization.
Colonized.
I now give the floor to the representative of Ingenieur du Monde.
Mr. Chair, I heard the term colonizers, but who are the real colonizers? A Jewish kingdom ruled in Judea for 1,000 years. We, the Arabs, took this land. Who Arabized Egyptians, Phoenicians, Persians, and Amazighs? It was us, the Arabs. So why does the Council enshrine a lie by keeping a permanent agenda item on Palestine while ignoring the indigenous heart of Israel returning home? Let us be clear who is actually defending our sovereignty. Today, Israel is fighter for peaceful nations, freeing Gaza from Hamas and saving Iranians from the Islamic Republic. What Israel is doing to the IRGC is a gift to humanity. There are 57 Islamic countries countries and
earlier,
only
but-
one Jewish state, Israel. Despite the
know what was
ongoing
going
hateful
on.
desire to eliminate it, Israel has not only
Reckless
survived,
driver
it has thrived. I don't
chasing
believe
some
in
dude.
miracles, but this is one. So
Crazy.
I ask the UN, when will you end the ritual of condemning Israel? Is it not
Yeah,
time
that's
instead
it
to
for
learn from
now.
Israel how to defeat
Take
terror,
care. Thanks
defend
for
free
watching.
societies, and pursue